Good morning, students. Welcome to our online class. This is your second period and the subject is political science. Students, today through this recorded video class, I am going to complete chapter 4, that is Parties and Party Systems in India, from book 2. I repeat, today through this recorded video class, I am going to complete chapter 4, that is Parties and Party Systems in India, from book 2, that is Politics in India since Independence. Students, today I am going to cover the following topics. The topics are like this. The presidential elections 1969 is our first topic. Second is 1971 election and restoration of Congress. Our next topic is the contest. Next one, the outcome and after, at last, restoration. So these topics we are going to cover, students. So please do watch this video carefully and attentively and try to understand the concepts. Fine. Students, let us move to our first topic, that is presidential elections 1969. Students, already we have studied that there are some differences between the syndicate and the Indira Gandhi. There was a fraction rivalry. Between Srimati Indira Gandhi and the syndicate. And this rivalry became open. Since 1969. I repeat, already in the previous topics we came to know that there was differences between the syndicate and Srimati Indira Gandhi, and this fraction rivalry between the syndicate and the Indira Gandhi came in the open in 1969 when the president, at that time President Zakir Hussein's death. Zakir Hussain, the former president of India, he died. So when he died, from that time onwards, this rivalry became more deep. How? The President Zakir Hussein's death, the post of President India fell vacant that year. When Zakir Hussain sir died, then the post of President of India was remain vacant. Despite Mrs. Indira Gandhi's reservations, the syndicate managed to nominate her long-time opponent and then Speaker of Lok Sabha, Neelam Sanjeev Reddy. The syndicate people who are there within the Congress, they proposed Neelam Sanjeev Reddy from Andhra Pradesh for the candidate for the post of President of India. So same thing said here. Despite Mrs. Indira Gandhi reservations, the syndicate managed to nominate her long-term opponent. Here Neelam Sanjeev Reddy is also one of the member of syndicate, and moreover he is the long-term opponent to Srimati Indira Gandhi and also the Speaker of Lok Sabha for some time. So the syndicate nominated this person for the post of president. And this person was termed as what? The official Congress candidate. The syndicate nominated Neelam Sanjeev Reddy as the official Congress candidate for the post of president. Actually, Indira Gandhi doesn't want this person to nominate or to be the candidate for the post of president. But the syndicate within the Congress, they proposed Neelam Sanjeev Reddy to be the candidate for the post of president. Okay. Indira Gandhi retaliated by encouraging the then Vice President V.V. Giri. Then what Indira Gandhi did? Indira Gandhi also proposed the then Vice President. At the time, he was the Vice President of India, who worked under Zakir Hussain. So Indira Gandhi proposed V.V. Giri, who worked as Vice President or who is working as Vice President for the nomination for the post of Vice President. But she nominated this person as independent candidate because your syndicate and Indira Gandhi both are within the Congress. And the syndicate nominated Neelam Sanjeev Reddy as the official candidate of Congress party. So Indira Gandhi cannot nominate any other person from the Congress party. Hence, she proposed V.V. Giri, the Vice President of India, for the post of President as a independent candidate. Separately, she nominated. She also announced several big and popular policies like the nationalization of 14 private banks. Indira Gandhi also announced several big and popular policy measures which she is going to take in India. That is nationalization of the 14 private banks and the abolition of the privy purses. Here, abolition of privy purses. This term you should know. What is privy purses? Means to stop the special privileges which were given to former princes. So Indira Gandhi announced this one, that I will stop the special privileges which were given to the previous princes of princely states in India. So nationalization of the 14 private banks, abolition of the privy purses or special privileges which were given to former princes of princely states, she announced. Morarji Desai was the Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister at that time. Morarji Desai was the Deputy Prime Minister and the Finance Minister of India at that time. Okay. Now, on both the above issues, serious differences emerged between the Prime Minister, resulting in Desai's leaving the government. I repeat, on both the above issues, serious differences emerged between him and Prime Minister, resulting in Desai leaving the government. I repeat once again, on both the above issues, nationalization of 14 private banks, abolition of privy purses or special privileges to the princes of princely states. On these two, there were differences arose between Indira Gandhi and Morarji Desai, who was the Deputy Prime Minister of India. Hence, he left the government. Congress had seen differences in this kind of thing in the past. Congress already had some experience of this type of differences in the past, but this time both the parties wanted to show down their showdown which took place during the presidential elections. Here Indira Gandhi and the syndicate both don't want to step back, both want to go together to see who will be the President of India. So, but this time both the parties wanted showdown which took place during the presidential elections. The then Congress president at the time Congress president was when these things ever happened in India at the time, the Congress president was what? Yes, Nijalingappa, from Mysore, issued a whip. He issued a whip to all the Congress MPs and MLAs to vote in favor of Neelam Sanjeev Reddy. As Nijalingappa, the Congress president, official Congress president, he issued a whip, WHAP. Whip means what? He forced, the Congress party forced all the Congress party MPs and MLAs that they should vote their official candidate, Neelam Sanjeev Reddy, for the post of president. He forced to support Neelam Sanjeev Reddy for the official candidate of this post president. Okay. And supporters of Indira Gandhi requested, or I can say supporters of Indira Gandhi requisitioned a special meeting of All India Congress Committee. Okay. But this was refused. After silently supporting V.V. Giri, the Prime Minister Indira Gandhi openly called for a conscience vote. Indira Gandhi, who proposed V.V. Giri as the independent candidate for the post of president, she openly called for a conscience vote. Conscience vote, which meant that the MPs and MLAs of Congress party are free to vote the way they want. Though Nijalingappa issued a whip to all Congress party MPs and MLAs to vote in favor of Neelam Sanjeev Reddy, but Srimati Indira Gandhi, she openly said for a conscience vote, informing all their members that they can vote whomever they wish to vote. The election ultimately resulted in the victory of V.V. Giri. Finally, V.V. Giri, the proposed candidate of Srimati Indira Gandhi, he won the election of president, and he became the president. So the independent candidate who was proposed by Srimati Indira Gandhi became the president of India, and the defeat of Neelam Sanjeev Reddy, the official candidate of Congress party. Now, the defeat of official Congress, here in these elections, who were defeated? The official Congress party defeated. Okay, so the defeat of official Congress candidate formalized the split in the party. So all the syndicate people, they were angry with Srimati Indira Gandhi. Hence, they decided to get separated from the Congress party. Hence, the Congress party split into two groups. One is, when the split was happened, by November 1969, the Congress group led by the syndicate came to be referred as what? Congress O, Congress organization, which is the official Congress party. The syndicate, who are the members of Congress party, they got separated from the Congress party and they called themselves as Congress O, Congress organization. And the another group that is led by Srimati Indira Gandhi, they called to be as what? Congress Requisitionists, Congress R. Congress Requisitionists means what? Congress R. These two parties were also described as what? Old Congress and New Congress. Here, Old Congress means that syndicate and the Congress, some of the Congress leaders. And New Congress means Indira Gandhi and other leaders. Indira Gandhi projected the split. She projected the division of this original Congress party, an old ideological divide between socialist and conservatives. Indira Gandhi said that, yes, of course, the Congress party is divided into two groups, depends upon the ideological differences. She referred the split into the difference between the ideological difference between what? The socialists and the conservatives. or I can say between the pro-poor and the pro-rich. So in this way, the Congress party divided into two groups. Congress organization. Sorry, Congress O means Congress organization and Congress R means Congress requisitionist. Next one. Next topic is abolition of privy purses. Indira Gandhi, during 1969, during the presidential elections, she announced the abolition of privy purses. What is meant by the abolition of privy purses? Okay. ఆపలేదెళ్ళి So abolition of privy purses. Listen carefully. What does it mean? In chapter 1, you have read about the integration of princely states. That means there were nearly 565 or above 560 princely states were there in India, apart from the British provinces, and each princely state is ruled by some princes. These princely states were under the control of the British government, but they requested the British government that they will rule independently, though they are under the control of British government, but they will rule independently, and for which they are ready to pay the yearly tribute to the British government. So those princely states I am speaking here. So there are more than 560 princely states are there which are ruled by the respective princes, and these princely states were under control of British rule, but the princes requested the British government that they will rule their states independently, their kingdoms independently, and they'll pay the yearly tribute to the British government. So here I am referring those princely states. So in the chapter 1, you have read about the integration of princely states. So many princely states were added into Indian Union, except 3, that is Jammu and Kashmir, okay, Junagadh and Hyderabad. So this integration was preceded by an assurance that after the dissolution of the princely rule, the other rulers' families would be allowed to retain certain private property and given a grant of hereditary and or government allowance. So when all the princely states were integrated, other than, actually all were integrated, but earlier Nizam of Hyderabad, Junagadh and Jammu and Kashmir, they were not integrated. Later on they were integrated, but those princely states which were integrated, they were promised by the government that they will allow these princes to retain some of their private property on their name, and at the same time they will be given some hereditary grant or government allowance by the government to all such princes and princely states. Okay, allowances measured on the basis of the extent and revenue and the potential of the merging state. This grant, hereditary grant or government allowance will be given by the government to the princes, depends upon their size of the kingdom, the source of revenue, how much they are getting. This grant was called privy purse. This grant, whatever grant that is government is decided to give these princes or those states which were merged with Indian Union, so those grants were called privy purses. Okay, those princely states which were merged with Indian Union during the integration of princely states in India, so those princely states which were merged with the Indian Union, they were promised to be given, or they were promised to allow some independent property on their name, and they will be given some hereditary grants or some government allowances, depends upon the size of the kingdom, extent of the kingdom, the source of revenue of the kingdom, the potential of the kingdom. So whatever grant the government decided to give them, that is called privy purse, and this privy purse which is receiving or received by these princes when India got independence, that was decided to be stopped by Srimati Indira Gandhi. That is called abolition of privy purses. Morarji Desai, however, called the above morally wrong and amounting to a breach of faith with the princess. So Morarji Desai said to Indira Gandhi, though you are abolishing these privy purses, but at time the government only promised them to give allowance, hereditary allowance or hereditary grant, government allowance, and government only given the permission to possess some of their private property. But today you are abolishing this privy purse. So this is a breach of trust. The people trusted the government, but the government is taking wrong decision against them. So this is wrong. So he had differences with Indira Gandhi regarding the abolition of privy purses and also the nationalization of the 14 banks, private banks. Hence, he left that Indira Gandhi's government, who worked as a finance minister and left the government. The government tried to bring a constitutional amendment in 1970. The government tried to bring an amendment in 1970, but it was not passed in Rajya Sabha. It then issued on an ordinance. Actually, whatever the abolition of privy purses, it was proposed in the Lok Sabha. In Lok Sabha it was passed, but in Rajya Sabha it was not accepted. That immediately issued an ordinance which struck down the Supreme Court. That ordinance which was issued by Srimati Indira Gandhi's government or on the request of the President V.V. Giri, that was struck down by Supreme Court. Supreme Court has not agreed to pass this ordinance, that is abolition of privy purses. Indira Gandhi made this into a major issue in 1971. Indira Gandhi made this issue in 1971 that the Supreme Court is coming in the middle of the government's work. Indira Gandhi made the issue that Supreme Court is coming in the middle of the government work. Whatever government is trying to do for the best for the people, or whatever the government is trying to do good to the people, in the middle of that work, the Supreme Court is interfering. Judiciary is interfering in the parliamentary affairs. Like that. So Indira Gandhi made this one as a big issue in 1971 and got a lot of public support. Following its massive victory in 1971 election, again elections were held in 1971, and in 1971 Indira Gandhi got a massive victory. The constitution was amended to remove legal obstacles for abolition of privy purses. So Indira Gandhi government, when it came to power with full majority, she amended the constitution, and as per the amendment of the constitution, she passed the ordinance, that is abolition of privy purses, and privy purses abolition was made by Indira Gandhi. Now onwards, the princes of the princely states, they were not given the government grant, hereditary grant or government allowances to them. So it was abolished. Now moving to another important topic, that is 1971 elections and the restoration of Congress. So when the elections were held and how Congress once again restored the power back. Listen. Already we have studied the syndicate members, Rajalingappa, Athili Ghosh, these people, Neelam Sanjeev Reddy, these people, they separated from the original Congress, and they formed a group as called Congress organization, and another group which is headed by Indira Gandhi is called Congress Congress Requisition. So in this way the Congress party divided into two groups. The split of the Congress reduced Indira Gandhi's government into a minority. When the syndicates people, they left the Congress. When the syndicate people left the Congress party, before 1971, then what happened? The Indira Gandhi's government, it come under minority. And minority government cannot be ruled. So the split in the Congress between Congress R and Congress O, or Congress O and Congress R, the Indira Gandhi government came under minority, yet her government continued in office with issue-based support of a few other parties, including Communist Party of India and DMK. But anyway, Indira Gandhi government continued for some time with the support of the Communist Party of India, CPI, and the DMK, the support given by Tamil Nadu government, Kamaraj. During this period of the government made conscientious attempt to project its socialist credentials. I repeat, during this period of government, when the minority government is running, so during this period, the government made conscious attempts to project its socialist credentials. This was also faced when Indira Gandhi vigorously campaigned for implementing the existing land reforms laws and undertook further land ceiling legislations. She did a lot of campaigning of her party. She decided to abolish the land ceiling acts which were already existed, and also they want to make some change in the land reforms for the benefit of the common good. In order to end her dependence on her political parties, I repeat, in order to end her dependence on other political parties. Already now she depends upon what? Congress, Communist Party of India and DMK. So she decided, in order to end her dependence on other political parties, strengthen her party's position in the parliament, and moreover to strengthen her party, Congress, or to strengthen her own party in the parliament and seek a popular mandate from her program, Indira Gandhi's government recommended the dissolution of Lok Sabha. Indira Gandhi government, since she is minority, she is not having majority because the left of syndicate, so she decided, first what she did, she campaigned her government, and she said that she will introduce some of the socialist ideals or socialist credentials in India by making land reforms, abolition of land ceiling acts. Okay, and she don't want to be depend upon the other Congress party leaders. She don't want to depend upon the Communist Party of India, DMK. Hence, in order to prove her majority once again, she wrote a letter to President to dissolve the government. Okay, so she dissolved the government in December 1970. So Indira Gandhi government was dissolved because her government was minority, because many people left her party and formed a separate group. This was another surprising and bold move of Indira Gandhi. Indira Gandhi's dissolution of her government in December 1970. Okay, so this was another bold move of Indira Gandhi. The fifth general election came. The fifth general election to Lok Sabha were held in February 1971. Now again elections were held when the government collapsed. Again fresh general elections were held in India. That is fifth general elections which were held in February 1971. Now in this again this Congress party contest, or I can say contested, let us see. The electoral contest appeared to be loaded against Indira Gandhi's R. The electoral contest appeared to be loaded against Indira Gandhi's government R. After all, the new Congress was just one fraction of an already weak party. Everyone believed that the real organizational strength of the Congress party was under the command of Congress. People thought that the more powerful leaders are in Congress, and Congress R, which is headed by Indira Gandhi, is weak, only one unit. So many political leaders, many political experts, they believed that